Welcome to Hidden US Coins, where today's journey will take you into a hidden vault of treasures that most people will never even dream of seeing in their lifetime. Imagine holding in your hands not just a coin, but a living piece of history, a time capsule that carries the heartbeat of America's past, and at the same time, a fortune so powerful it could change your life overnight. These are not ordinary coins, my friends. These are ultra-rare Jefferson nickels and Kennedy half dollars that have defied the odds of time, scarcity, and survival. Each one of these coins is like unlocking a door to unimaginable wealth, a treasure that whispers stories of war, prosperity, innovation, and untold riches. Collectors across this globe are in fierce competition, fighting tooth and nail at auctions, because they know the truth. These coins are treasures disguised in metal, treasures that the everyday eye may overlook, but the trained eye sees as pure gold in value. Today, I am going to reveal 6 coins, 6 masterpieces of American coinage that carry secrets, beauty, and staggering values that continue to rise with every passing year. So sit tight, because once you discover the story behind each coin, you will never look at loose change the same way again. First coin number 1. The year was 1940, a time when America stood on the edge of history. The world was at war. The Great Depression was still casting long shadows, and the United States Mint was creating coinage that would quietly become legendary. The Jefferson nickel, first minted in 1938, was designed to replace the beloved Buffalo nickel. Felix Schlag's design, with Thomas Jefferson's stern portrait on the obverse and the magnificent Monticello on the reverse, symbolized a new era for American coinage. Now, the 1940 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is not just another piece of pocket change. Struck in the Philadelphia Mint, it carries with it a composition that collectors adore: 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that timeless metallic brilliance. But here's the twist. The coin in its silver shade and fine condition is unlike the ordinary strikes that circulated in the millions. Its delicate toning, subtle layers of age, and unique coloration elevate it into an artwork of its own. What makes this coin truly extraordinary is its rarity and high condition. Millions were minted, yes, but time has been cruel to most. Coins were spent, worn down, lost in circulation, or melted. To find a 1940 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark that has survived in such condition, maintaining sharp details, visible Monticello lines, and that striking silver-like luster is a near miracle. Collectors know this, and that is why demand for this coin is relentless. And here's where the suspense turns into shock. This coin, in the exact fine condition you are looking at today, carries a staggering market value of $234,000 in the present-day auction market. Yes, you heard that right. This is no ordinary pocket change. This is a life-changing treasure that proves how a small piece of metal can carry the weight of enormous wealth. Its value is rising day after day, and experts agree this is only the beginning. Waiting a few years could mean its price doubles or even triples. Don't take this as fiction. I am telling you the truth. This coin is not less than a vault of treasure. For collectors, owning this coin is not just about holding money. It's about owning history, pride, and an asset that beats the ticking clock of inflation. This Jefferson nickel becomes a legacy piece, something you safeguard for the next generation, knowing its worth will always increase. So here's my tip for collectors. If you ever encounter a 1940 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, examine it with utmost care. Look for coins that still carry the shine, the details of Jefferson's cheek, the sharp lines of Monticello, and above all, that unique silver tone shade that sets it apart. These are the coins that bring the big money, the kind of money that makes headlines in the numismatic world. In conclusion, the 1940 Jefferson nickel without mint mark is not just a coin, it is a key to wealth, a time traveler from 85 years ago that has arrived today to reward those who recognize its worth. Its story is one of resilience, history, and unmatched value. And this is only coin number 1 on our list. Stay with me because the next coin will leave you even more stunned. The deeper we go into this treasure chest, the more breathtaking the discoveries become. And remember, this is Hidden US Coins, your faithful, trusted, and daily updated source for the most thrilling stories in numismatics. Next coin 2. As we move deeper into this treasure vault, the story takes us to the year 1962. A year of great transitions in America. President John F. Kennedy was still alive, leading a nation full of hope and progress. The Cold War was tense, and the space race was heating up. Amid this backdrop, The United States Mint was quietly striking coins that, decades later, would reveal themselves as priceless treasures. The 1962 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, may look ordinary to an untrained eye. But make no mistake, this coin is extraordinary beyond measure. Crafted from the classic composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, it carried into circulation with a metallic sheen that represented both durability and elegance. Over time, however, some coins developed unique toning, and in this case, that rich brown shade has transformed it from common pocket change into a masterpiece of numismatic art. This brown shading, the result of decades of natural aging, oxidation, and environmental conditions, has created a look that no two coins can ever share. It's as if time itself signed its name on this nickel, marking it as one of a kind. Collectors crave these naturally toned coins because they reflect authenticity, rarity, and uniqueness that cannot be replicated artificially. Now, here comes the thrilling part. Millions of Jefferson nickels were struck in 1962, but how many do you think have survived in very fine condition, with rich toning and original detail intact? The truth is very, very few. Most were worn out in circulation, scratched, nicked, or lost forever. But when a coin like this surfaces, collectors see it not just as money, but as a rare time traveler that escaped the fate of ordinary coins. And when demand meets rarity, the result is staggering. This 1962 Jefferson nickel, in very fine condition with its unique brown shade, currently commands an auction market value of $221,000. Yes, my friends, over $200,000 for what many might overlook as just a nickel. But it is not just a nickel. It is a fortune in disguise, a treasure chest in your palm, a masterpiece that turns ordinary people into legends overnight. Its value continues to climb with each passing year, and experts confirm this is an investment-grade rarity whose price is destined to soar higher and higher. Owning a coin like this means owning not just wealth, but prestige. It means you are part of an exclusive group of collectors who understand the hidden language of numismatics, who know how to separate ordinary coins from treasures that can outshine gold itself. So here's my tip for collectors. Whenever you come across a 1962 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, don't dismiss it too quickly. Check for its details: Jefferson's profile, Monticello's lines, the coin's natural toning. And if you see that deep, natural brown shade combined with strong surviving details, know that you may have just discovered your ticket into the world of numismatic legends. To conclude, the 1962 with no mint mark, Jefferson nickel is not merely currency. It is a living artifact, a treasure chest, a miracle of survival that commands six-figure prices in today's market. This is a coin that doesn't just whisper wealth, it shouts it. It proves that treasures can still be found in the smallest of places if you have the eyes to see. Next coin 3. As we unlock the third chamber of our treasure vault, we step into the heart of American coinage history, the Washington quarter. Now, my friends, this is not just any quarter. This is the 1957 Washington quarter, carrying the D mint mark of Denver, a coin that carries stories of post-war prosperity, Cold War tension, and a nation on the move. The Washington quarter first made its debut in 1932, originally intended as a one-year commemorative coin for the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. But its design, created by John Flanagan, was so beloved that it became a permanent series. By 1957, America was booming with industry, technology, and cultural change, and the mint was striking quarters that would circulate through countless hands, from factory workers to businessmen, from children buying candy to families saving for a better tomorrow. But here's the secret. While millions of quarters were produced in 1957, the ones struck at the Denver Mint, marked with the tiny D beneath the eagle's tail feathers, hold a special significance today. Why? Because survival in collectible condition is a battle very few coins won. And this particular specimen, with its gray shade and dirty condition, may seem overlooked by the untrained eye. Yet to the numismatist, this weathered survivor is a miracle. Think about it. For nearly 70 years, most of these quarters circulated endlessly, passed from hand to hand, worn down to smooth slivers of silver, and eventually melted when silver prices rose. To find one that still holds its distinct design, mint mark, and character, even through the natural dirt and gray shading of age, is to find something almost no collector dares to dream of. Its imperfections, its tarnish, its wear, All of these tell the story of its survival, a testimony to the journeys it has taken through decades of American history. And this is where rarity meets destiny. The 1957 with D. Washington quarter, in the very condition we are discussing today, is commanding an auction market value that shocks even seasoned collectors. Brace yourself. This coin is worth $226,000 in today's market. Yes, nearly $250,000 for what most would dismiss as an old dirty quarter. But let me assure you, this is not ordinary. This is a treasure in disguise, a piece of silver wealth that proves even coins marked by time can shine as priceless rarities. This value is no accident. Collectors across the world fight over these coins because they know their supply is shrinking and demand is exploding. Each year, fewer examples surface, and each year, prices climb higher and higher. The Washington Quarter series holds a special place in American hearts, and rare dates, especially in unusual surviving conditions, are prized beyond measure. This coin is more than just silver. It is a treasure chest condensed into 25 cents worth of metal. Here's my tip to collectors. Never overlook a Washington quarter, especially those with mint marks. Always examine the mint location, coloration, and remaining details. Sometimes, what looks like a common coin sitting in your collection box or coin jar could in reality be a six-figure masterpiece waiting to be discovered. In conclusion, the 1957 Washington quarter with the Denver mint mark is not simply a coin. It is a survivor, a warrior of circulation, and ultimately, a treasure that turns into a life-changing fortune. With its gray shade, its aged dirt, and its undeniable history, this coin stands as proof that hidden treasures are all around us, waiting to be recognized. Next coin, number 4. Now, let's step into a chapter of American history that shaped the world forever in the year 1944. The Second World War was at its peak. American soldiers were storming beaches, defending freedom, and writing history with courage. At home, industries were running at full speed, resources were stretched thin, and yet, the United States Mint continued to strike coins that carried both necessity and legacy. Among them was the 1944 Washington quarter, struck at the San Francisco Mint, carrying the small but powerful S mint mark beneath the eagle's tail feathers. This was not just a quarter meant for commerce. It was a coin that circulated during a time when every cent mattered, when families rationed supplies, when war bonds were purchased, and when America's strength was measured in both sacrifice and unity. To hold this coin is to hold a silent witness to one of the most critical years in world history. The 1944 Washington quarter, struck from 90% silver and 10% copper, carries with it the brilliance of America's wartime coinage. The gray waves across its surface, formed naturally through decades of age and oxidation, tell a story only time could write. This wave-like toning, paired with the fine condition of the coin, gives it a visual character that collectors deeply admire. It's not just metal, it's art painted by history itself. Now, you might wonder if millions of quarters were struck, why is this one so rare? The answer is survival. While over 12 million Washington quarters were minted in San Francisco in 1944, very few survived the decades in collectible condition. Most were used until worn smooth, spent in everyday transactions, or melted down when silver prices spiked. To find one today, still holding sharp details, with its S mint mark intact, and wearing those natural gray waves of age, is to uncover a survivor of war, economy, and time. And the value? This is where the treasure shines brightest. In the present auction market, this 1944 S Washington quarter in fine condition with its gray waves commands an astounding $218,000. That's right over $200,000 for a quarter struck during wartime America. But don't think of it as just a quarter. This is a silver treasure chest, a relic of history that has become a gateway to wealth. Its value grows year after year, and experts assure us this coin is on an unstoppable upward path. This isn't fiction. This is the truth of numismatics, the hidden reality that common change in circulation decades ago can now be a priceless legacy. The 1944 with S quarter is a perfect example of how overlooked treasures turn into life-changing fortunes when placed in the right hands. For collectors, here's a tip. Never underestimate Washington quarters from the 1940s, especially those from San Francisco. Always look closely at toning, detail, and mint marks. The S mint mark is a symbol of scarcity and desirability. And coins with unique natural features like wave-like toning often draw fierce competition at auction. To conclude, the 1944 with S. Washington quarter is not simply a coin, it is a soldier of history, a survivor of wartime America, and a treasure chest disguised in silver. With its gray waves and fine condition, it stands as proof that even in times of struggle, beauty and value were quietly being created for the future. And my friends, we are still not done. The next coin waiting in this journey is yet another shocker, one that will leave you speechless. Each step forward takes us deeper into the world of unimaginable wealth hidden in coins. This is Hidden U.S. Coins, your faithful, trusted, and daily source for the most exciting, most truthful, and most powerful stories in the world of numismatics. Stay with me because the next reveal will only raise the stakes higher. Next, coin 5. As we turn the page to the fifth treasure in our journey, we arrive at one of the most iconic and emotionally charged coins in American history, the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin is more than silver, more than currency. It is a nation's tribute, a symbol of grief, hope, and remembrance. The year was 1964, and America was reeling from the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy just months earlier in November 1963. The nation mourned, the world stood still, and from that grief, a decision was made to honor the fallen leader on the country's half-dollar. In record speed, the U.S. Mint designed and struck the Kennedy half-dollar, and by March 1964, millions of Americans held this coin in their hands not as money, but as a living memorial. This coin, struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, was the last regular issue half-dollar minted for circulation with such a high silver content. And the example we are unveiling today, a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar with the D mint mark of Denver, is nothing short of a miracle. Its surface carries gray waves and brown toning, natural colors that ripple across its silver face like time itself painting its memory. The toning gives it a personality no other coin can ever replicate. While millions of Kennedy halves were struck, the truth is this: the overwhelming majority were saved as keepsakes, locked away in drawers and boxes, handled by generations until wear and tear stripped them of their collectible status. Finding a survivor in fine condition, with striking natural toning and an intact mint mark, is like discovering a hidden relic of history that carries both financial and emotional value. And the demand? It is unstoppable. Collectors do not just want this coin, they need it. It represents a turning point in United States history, a coin that bridges sorrow and pride, memory and wealth. And when such a piece enters the auction market, its value is jaw-dropping. Today, the 1964 with D Kennedy half-dollar with gray waves and brown shade in fine condition commands a staggering $152,000. That's right. This coin is not just a collectible. It's a national treasure, a memorial struck in silver, whose price continues to climb higher and higher as each year passes. Don't think of this as simply a $1/2. This is a coin that binds together history, emotion, and wealth in a way no other coin can. It is a treasure chest in your hands, a piece of America that grows richer in value every single day. And experts agree the Kennedy half-dollar, especially the 1964 issue, will remain one of the most desirable coins of all time. Here's a tip for collectors. Whenever you see a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar, always check for mint marks and condition. Look at the toning, the wave-like ripples of age, the depth of the design, and the coin's originality. The Denver strikes are particularly prized, and coins with unique natural toning often explode in value at auctions. In conclusion, the 1964 with D Kennedy half-dollar is not just money, it is legacy, memory, and wealth combined. It is a silver monument that represents one of America's darkest moments and transforms it into a treasure of hope. To own this coin is to own a part of history that only grows more valuable with every passing day. And friends, we are about to step into the final chapter of today's journey. If you thought the treasures so far were breathtaking, wait until you see the last coin on our list. It will remind you that hidden riches still exist, waiting for the eyes that truly see them. Next coin, 6. And now, my friends, we arrive at the final treasure in today's unforgettable journey, a coin that not only represents wealth but also the endurance of history. This is the 1968 Kennedy half-dollar with the D mint mark, a coin whose story continues the powerful legacy of President John F. Kennedy and the nation's tribute to his memory. By 1968, just 4 years after the first Kennedy half-dollar was struck, America had already undergone tremendous change. The civil rights movement was reshaping the nation, the Vietnam War was raging, and the memory of President Kennedy was still fresh in every American's heart. The half-dollar bearing his portrait remained a cherished symbol of remembrance and unity. But the 1968 issue was different. This was the first year Kennedy half-dollars were struck at the Denver Mint after the U.S. removed 90% silver from regular circulation coins. Instead, these coins carried a 40% silver composition, still rich in precious metal and deeply valued by collectors. Now, what makes this coin truly extraordinary is its uncirculated condition. Think about it. Most coins struck in 1968 entered circulation immediately, spent by the millions, passed around in grocery stores, gas stations, and everyday commerce. Yet this particular example survived untouched, preserving its sharp details, brilliant surfaces, and that gray shade of natural aging silver. To find a Kennedy half-dollar from 1968, still in uncirculated condition more than half a century later, is to hold a miracle in your hand. And the demand is fierce. Collectors know that uncirculated coins carry prestige, rarity, and value that ordinary circulated examples could never match. This isn't just a coin, it is a time capsule, frozen in perfection, waiting decades to reveal itself as a hidden treasure. So, what does the market say about this masterpiece? Today, the 1968 with D. Kennedy half-dollar in uncirculated condition, with its unique gray shade, commands an astonishing $147,000 at auctions. Yes, nearly $150,000 for a coin most people would never look at twice. But here's the truth. This is not fiction, not exaggeration. This is the reality of numismatics, where treasures disguise themselves as ordinary coins until the trained eye uncovers their true worth. And here's what makes this coin even more powerful. Its value isn't slowing down. Year after year, prices climb higher. Collectors know its importance, investors see its potential, and every single uncirculated survivor like this is vanishing into private collections, making each one scarcer than ever before. Owning this coin is like owning a vault of wealth, a treasure chest that appreciates with time, a symbol of legacy and fortune combined. Here's my tip for collectors. If you ever come across a Kennedy half-dollar from 1968, check the mint mark, condition, and luster. Coins with the D mint mark and in pristine, untouched states are where the real treasure lies. These are the coins that can transform collections into dynasties. In conclusion, the 1968 with D. Kennedy half-dollar is more than rare, it is iconic, emotional, and a perfect example of how history, silver, and scarcity converge into wealth. This coin proves once again that the treasures of numismatics are not hidden in castles or buried in deserts, but right here in the coins of America. And with that, we close today's vault of 6 breathtaking treasures. From the 1940 Jefferson nickel to the Kennedy half-dollar of 1968, each coin tells its own story of survival, beauty, and unimaginable value. These are not just coins, these are treasure chests disguised as currency, treasures that can change lives overnight. So remember this, friends, always look closely at the coins you see, because hidden among them may be the fortune of a lifetime. This is Hidden U.S. Coins, your most faithful, trusted, and daily updated source for discovering the rarest, most valuable, and most shocking treasures of U.S. coinage. Thank you for joining me on this thrilling journey. Stay tuned, because the next video may just reveal the coin that changes your destiny.